Hello everyone, back to today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's second video, day 10 will take us to around the 10th of September. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with a steady GFS and ECM ensembles. They run to around a couple of weeks. Have a look at SFSV2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. That'll take us pretty much to the end of September. Talking of September, we have just released the ECMWF 30-day look ahead, which again is pretty much a September look ahead. So have a look at that and see what the ECMWF is forecasting in terms of temperature and precipitation anomalies across Europe for the next 4 weeks. Quite an interesting watch. So before I get on that though, just to say about the new channel member that we've got and also the live stream that happened on Sunday. So first of all, let's say a big thank you to our latest channel member. We picked up this channel member during the live stream or at the end of the live stream. So a big thank you to Ben Enty. Big thank you to Ben Enty for becoming a GWV channel member. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Ben, for doing that. If you would like to become a channel member for GavsWeatherVids, all you need to come to GavsWeatherVids YouTube homepage, or with any of the videos and live streams and whatnot, click the join button. It takes you to another page where you see what benefits you get for becoming a channel member for GavsWeatherVids, and you can sign up on that page as well. And got loads and loads of channel members, so big thank you to our all of our channel members. Thank you so much, all of you, for doing that, and big thank you of course to Ben Enty for becoming our latest channel member during the live stream. Now the live stream did go a little bit awry, didn't it? Yes, it was my nadir really, and you know, things did go rather wrong due to really just tiredness and exhaustion, I think, more than anything else. And you know, initially I sort of unlisted the live stream so that it wasn't public on Sunday evening, but then I sort of reflected on it and thought, well, why not, you know, let everybody sort of see and enjoy my nadir, really. So the live stream is public on the YouTube channel. At the moment, it's on the homepage at GavsWeatherVids.com until Wednesday as well. So if you didn't see it live, then have a look. It is quite funny. I can see the funny side of it, but yes, so have a look. I plunged like over 100 people into darkness for 15 minutes while I was live streaming the CFSV2 seasonal charts, and it was very unprofessional of me, really. But again, it's just caused by tiredness and exhaustion. But it was quite. I think it was quite funny, you know, as well as being a little bit unprofessional. But anyway, if you didn't see it live, then you can have a look at it, and it's on the homepage at GavsWeatherVids until Wednesday, when it'll be replaced by Wednesday's live stream, and you can see it on demand whenever you want, actually, on the YouTube channels. So yeah, have a look if you didn't see it live. But the feedback has been pretty good, actually. Everybody has been very kind about it, really. So it's live. These things happen, don't they, when you're live, and especially on my streams, it seems. But anyway, that's all that out of the way. And big thank you to Ben Enty, who became a channel member for GavsWeatherVids during or at the end of the live stream. Thank you so much, Ben. And we had loads of super chats as well during the live stream. So big thank you to all of our super chatters that we had during that live stream too. I think the live stream on Sunday will go down in history, or maybe in infamy. I'm not sure. Right, let's get on with the video then. So we're going to start off with the tropical Atlantic. So we've got 3 areas of interest. Let's deal with this yellow X just here. We've got a yellow X that currently is over land in Africa. It hasn't even gone out into the Atlantic Ocean yet, but that is disturbance 2, with a 0% chance of cyclone invasion in the next 48 hours, and a 30% chance in the next 5 days. They say this sort of tropical wave is expected to emerge off the coast of Africa in a day or so. Gradual development of this system will be possible through the end of the week while it moves slowly westward over the far eastern tropical Atlantic Ocean. So that's just a wave at the moment, a cluster of thunderstorms. It is one to watch. So we've got this dramatic looking red X just here. So that one is a disturbance 1, and that's got a 70% chance, high chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days and in the next 5 days too. They're saying with this one, a seemingly well-organised cluster of showers and thunderstorms associated with a tropical wave is moving quickly westward across the central Caribbean Sea. But satellite-derived wind data from a few hours ago again showed that the system has not developed a closed surface wind circulation. The wave is, however, producing an area of winds near tropical storm force south of the coast of Haiti, which will move near or south of Jamaica later this morning. Environmental conditions are expected to become a little more conducive for development, and a tropical depression is likely to form during the next couple of days before the system reaches Central America Wednesday night. Locally, heavy rains and gusty winds are possible on Jamaica today, and interest there as well as in the northern Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, Guatemala and the Yucatan Peninsula area should monitor the progress of this disturbance. We also have 15. We've got 15 just here off the east coast of the states, so we're off the east coast of North Carolina. Tropical Depression 15 giving maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour with minimum central pressure of 1008 millibars, moving northeastwards at 13 miles per hour. Clicking on 15 shows what's likely to happen. So at the moment, yes, a tropical depression. Going to stay as a tropical depression for the next couple of days before it goes post-tropical, moving further out into the cooler waters of the mid-North Atlantic as we get through into like the second half of this week. So that's how things are currently looking in the tropical Atlantic. That's point you up to date with everything that's going on there. Now, there's been very interesting news in terms of this year's storm names from the UK Met Office. So for a few years, UK Met and Met Aram have been naming storms through the autumn and winter season. And this year's list for 2020-21 has been released. It was released at midnight, or just before midnight, like last night. And here we go. So this is the list of names for this year's season. So we have got Ada, we've got Bella, we've got Christoph, I think that is. We've got Darcy. We've got Evert. We've got Fleur. We have got Gavin. More about that in a moment. We've got Halewyn. We've got Helwyn. We've got Ian. We've got Julia. We've got Class. We've got Lila, I think that is. Lila. We've got Minnie. We've got Naya, I think that is. We've also got Oscar. We've got Phoebe. We've got Ravi. We've got Scything or something. We've got Tobias. We've got Veronica. And we have got Wilson. No Q's, U's, X, Y's or Z's this year. So, yes, that's the full list of names, and indeed, it turns out that Gavin, Storm Gavin, has made it onto this year's named storm list. So, if we get that far, I mean, it's relatively early on, isn't it, G? It's relatively early on in the list. It's like still in the first sort of table here, like the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like in the first 7. So there's a decent, I would have thought, there's a reasonable possibility that we might get to Storm Gavin by the end of the season. So at some point during this season, you never know, we may be able to we may be able to live stream Gavin may be able to live stream Storm Gavin. That would be very interesting, wouldn't it? That would be a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's going to be quite interesting later on in the season if we do get to Storm Gavin. But that's your full list of names for this year's Storm name season. Personally, I'm still not that keen on naming storms, but but there we go. We're gonna keep doing it, and we've got Storm Gavin this year, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. If we do, assuming we do get 2G and we do get Storm Gavin, then Gavin will indeed be able to live stream Storm Gavin. I think we'll all have a good laugh about that. Central England temperature is in, the CET is in for August, so visit the CET page at GavsWeatherVids.com. Let's scroll down through the centuries and the decades. We come down into 21st century. And here we go. So, August 2020 comes out at 17.6. We got at 17, I should say. 0.6 for the Central England temperature for August 2020. This is the joint warmest August since 2003 with 2004. So the last time we had an August this warm was way back up here in 2004. Also at 17.6. So joint warmest with 2004 since 2003. August 2003 did have an 18 Celsius CT, came out at 18.3, and for a long time it looked like this August was probably going to have an 18 Celsius CT too, but the last week of the month, and particularly like the last 3 days, it's bank holiday weekend, has done all sorts of damage. We dropped over a degree with the central temperature in 1 week, in the last week of the month, which doesn't sound like that much, but that is a lot to lose, actually. That is a lot to lose in a week, especially late on. You know, you can get quite big changes early on in a month, but when you get towards the last week of the month, CT tends not to move that much. So that's quite unusual, actually. It's been unusually cool, and as I say, particularly so through the last sort of 2-3 days of the month, where we did get some very abnormally and unusually chilly nights as well as depressed daytime temperatures, and so that is why the CET just fell during the last sort of week, particularly of the month, and especially so in the last 2 or 3 days. So 17.6 is the joint warmest August since 2003, jointly combined with 2004. Been a very strange summer. We had a warm June at 15.3, very warm June, a cool July at 15.7. July was barely any warmer than June, really, only a few tenths of a degree in it. Then we had this very hot August, like for the first week to 10 days of the month, but then with a collapsing temperature in the last week. So very, very strange summer. And of course, we had that intense heat at the beginning, at the beginning of August. And then we had like gale force winds, severe gale force winds later on in the month, then a temperature collapse. I mean, this has been one of the this August in particular has been very, very strange. Been one of the most strangest Augusts that I can ever remember, really, for the wild swings that we've had. But there we go. That's it. So that's how August came out. Right, let's have a look at weather next week, 10 days. Then these are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts from the Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF on the top, and the GFS, which I'll look in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in absolute high pressure, low pressure, I'll be moved down by jet stream running above. Red and orange extrapolating to high pressure, blue extrapolating to low pressure. So here we go. This takes us into the 7 to 10 day time frame, so into the second week of September, with the ECM developing quite a big area of low pressure below average heights to the north of the country, above average heights, high pressure pulling out into the middle of the Atlantic. Jet stream and wind flow is going on a northwest-southeast alignment. Looks like it's turning increasingly unsettled, and it looks like it's turning increasingly wet and windy there, as we go into the 7 to 10 day time frame with the ECM. And the GFS is very similar, actually. So again, we've got the above average heights to our west and southwest, below average heights to our north and northeast. Jet stream coming in northwest, southeast, maybe a little bit more influence from this ridge. Could be just a little bit more influence from this ridge in the 10-day time frame. But they're both going in the same direction. They're both pulling the heights out that way, and they're both dropping in this trough of low pressure that way. So they're both indicating as we get into the second week of September, we are likely to turn increasingly cool and probably rather wet and autumnal. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London from our west central. The upper air temperature actually a little bit below average still at the moment. That's all left over from that very cool end to August I was talking about a moment ago. Upper air temperature is going to lift up in the next couple of days. It's associated with an area of low pressure, so there will be some rain around, although probably not very much in the southeast. But a drop in temperature again later on in the week, becoming quite warm then as we go through the weekend into the early part of next week. Next week could actually have a couple of very warm days, possibly into the mid 20 Celsius, and then sort of dropping away as we go through the second week of September, dropping away back close to average. Precipitation-wise, quite a lot of dry weather coming up for the southeast, so the next few days are quite dry. There will be some rain around there, so that's like Thursday, Friday, that sort of time. Then it goes pretty dry over the weekend into next week for a while before it perhaps starts turning more definitively wet and unsettled as we move further on through the second week of September and into the middle part of the month. Temperature anomalies from the 1st to the 9th of September are very, very close to average, not a particularly big deviation either way. Precipitation anomalies from the 1st to the 9th of September are drier than average. It's going to be a relatively dry start to September. This is how the wind flow map looks from earthnullschool.net today. So we're close to high pressure, of course, today. So you can see how the wind flow jet stream is pushing northwards up to here. That's because we've got ridging, got plenty of ridging across many parts of Europe, and that's sending the areas of low pressure the jet stream away from us. So that explains why we're having something of a quieter interval. Something of a quiet interval for this start of September. Right, so that's how the UK Met Office is looking for Friday. So on Friday, we've got low pressure to our north, high pressure to our south. Winds are in from a westerly direction. Bit on the cool side for the north, and there could be a little bit of rain actually coming into the south. Into the weekend, the high pressure pulls away from us, and we drop this trough in from the northwest over the weekend, so that could bring showery conditions over the weekend before the high pressure then starts to ridge back in from off the Atlantic by the open of next week. That's as far as we get to the UK Met to Monday the 7th of September. The ridge of high pressure building in from the Atlantic, being quite a lot of dry weather with it. And as I say, for the early part of next week, temperatures might get into mid 20 Celsius down in the south, but probably doesn't last more than a couple of days, I wouldn't have thought. This is how the GFS is looking. So again, Friday, low pressure to our north, high pressure to our south, quite unsettled in the north, a little bit on the showery side down in the south as well, probably. Over the weekend, high pressure again slips away from us, allows this trough to come in from the north. That probably brings showery rain to the north on Saturday, and then showery rain down in the south on Sunday. Next week, the ridge builds in from the Atlantic again, especially so for England and Wales, and brings a lot of dry and potentially very warm weather with it. Again, I think that could get temperatures somewhere like London to around 25 Celsius early next week. That's around 77 Fahrenheit. But it doesn't last all that long, and by the time you get through to the middle of next week, you start to see the high pressure pulling back out to west again, allowing a cold front to come in from the northwest. That's bringing a band of heavy rain and quite a significant drop in temperature. And then we start going more and more unsettled as we run up towards day 10. The high pressure begins to slip away to southwest. Low pressure deepens to the north of Scotland. Signs of autumn coming in through the second week of September up to the middle of the month. Increasingly unsettled with low pressure dominating the weather, bringing spells of rain and much cooler temperatures as well. The GEM looks like that. So again, low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south on Friday. Over weekend, rather cool and showery really over weekend. Early next week, it turns drier and warmer as this ridge strengthens and centers itself over England and Wales. Could bring some very warm temperatures Monday and Tuesday next week, but only for a couple of days, and then we're turning cooler and more unsettled by day 10 as low pressure is taking over, and we start getting proper autumnal rains coming along. And then the ECM, which we know is going to be ending quite unsettled, looks like this. So again, Friday, low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. Will be some show rain around on Friday and into the weekend as well. Early next week, the ridge strengthens for a while, particularly down in the south, turns it drier and warmer early next week down in the south, before the ridge then begins to pull away from us, and by day 10, we're bringing in this much more unsettled west to northwesterly flow. Probably a band of quite heavy rain followed by showers, and it just looks like we're turning autumnal as we move through that second week of September. Day 10 is actually the 11th of September today. This is rainfall forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. So, going to be plenty of dry weather with this over the next few days. So, there will be some rain around. So, we've got some wet weather coming in from off Atlantic over the next couple of days. That's primarily for the north. Could be a little bit of showery rain down in the south. Then go through to Friday, maybe a little bit wetter across southern areas on Friday. That could bring some wet weather to the south on Friday. Into the weekend, it's sort of showery, and those showers are particularly in the north, but some of them do get down into the south as well. And only next week, sort of high pressure takes over for a while, turning us drier and warmer. But by the time you get through to day 10, it looks like we're turning much more unsettled then, with those winds turning into the northwest, bringing showers along spells of rain, and quite a drop in temperature, quite a strong northwesterly wind as well, setting in. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which, as I say, gets us to the 11th of September. I said it's the 10th of September, it's actually the 11th of September that gets us to. 15 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north, high pressure to our south, winds ring from a west to northwesterly direction. So, turning more unsettled with that from the northwest. 8, including the operational run, looking very unsettled with low pressure in from the northwest, strong northwesterly wind with showery bursts of rain. Another 8 just here, doing something very similar, again bringing in this area of low pressure in the northwest. Another 8 with low pressure to our north, again winds ring from the west to northwesterly direction. Another 8 just including the control run that looks very similar too, with the low pressure coming in. And then it's just a minority option for very tiny minority that has us under an area of high pressure over to the east of the country, with winds coming in from the east. But I mean, that is a strong signal for low pressure to be taking over by the time we get through to day 10 from the northwest. So, in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 16th of September, into the middle of the month. 13 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure out to our west, high pressure to our east. They're going to be quite unsettled. 11 with, let's change the colour, you're going to have to change the colour for this. A deep trough of low pressure over the top of the country, very autumnal. Another 10 just here with low pressure to our east. They're going to be cool, unsettled and autumnal too. 7 with low pressure over the country. 5 with high pressure over country. And then another 5 just here with high pressure over Scandinavia, low pressure to our west or southwest. Probably quite unsettled with that one too, but we could be putting up some warm southerly winds with that. I think it's looking increasingly unsettled for the second week of September, and probably running on into the middle of the month. So this first week of September can be relatively dry. There'll be some rain around in this first week of September, but relatively dry through the first week of September. We could get a couple of very warm days early next week, but after that, it looks like autumn is well and truly setting in. Let's have a look at SB2 finally. So these are 500 millibar heights, broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 1st to the 7th of September. The coming week is unsettled to the north, with low pressure to the north, high pressure to west and southwest. So that keeps southern areas with a reasonable amount of dry weather, but northern areas will be more unsettled at times in week 1. Week 2 is unsettled for all of us. This is the 8th to the 14th of September. Second week of September has low pressure dominating, high pressure pulling out into the middle of the Atlantic. So cool, wet and unsettled there in week 2. Week 3, again, looking unsettled. It's the 15th to 21st of September. Low pressure to the north, high pressure out of the middle of the Atlantic. Winds are lining up northwest to southeast with jet stream 2, cool and unsettled. in week 3. Week 4 is a little bit strange. This is the 22nd to 28th of September. Not really clear what's going on here. There's some higher pressure to the north. That's indicating a little bit of northern blocking. Higher pressure over here as well. There's no particularly evident trough of low pressure, but I assume there's low pressure just there, and I would assume that the jet stream is probably doing something like that and bringing low pressure in from off the Atlantic here. So that could also be quite cool and unsettled during that week 4 period as well, I would have thought. Week 1 temperature lines from the 1st to the 7th of September. They're cooler than average. Going to be cooler than average week coming up if model is correct. I'm not sure going to be that cool, but maybe a little bit below average. 8th to 14th of September. Again, below average temperatures are looking very probable. Week 3 is the 14th to 21st of September. That one is also looking slightly cooler than average. And week 4 is also a bit cooler than average. So this could be our second cooler than average month of the year, actually, with July. July was our first cooler than average month, but it could be that September is our second cooler than average month of this year, if that is correct. And then precipitation anomalies, finally, from the 1st to 7th of September, a little bit wetter than average across Scotland, hinting at being a bit drier than average in the south. All areas looking sort of average in week 2, which is the 8th to 14th of September. I would have thought that could be a little bit more unsettled than that, but I would have thought that could be a bit wetter than average. Week 3 is the 15th to 21st September. Again, average in most areas. Again, I would have thought that could be rather wetter than average with low pressure dominating. And then week 4 is the 22nd, 28th of September, near normal rainfall then. So that's it. So yeah, it could be what we're shaping up to have a rather coolish and unsettled September here. So we'll have to wait and see how it all transpires, but that's certainly what the indications are looking like today. Right, so that's it for your 10 to 14 day video update. Don't forget to check out the ECO 30 day look at it if you haven't yet done so. We've got Terry Scully's September and autumn forecast combined coming up as a written post at GavsWeatherVids.com tonight from 7 o'clock. I've already got the forecast, and it is a very, very interesting read indeed. So check that out from 7 o'clock tonight. Terry Scully's September and also autumn forecast. We're going to be live streaming the 10 to 14 day video update for you tomorrow. And that will be from 6 o'clock. I'll probably do a 5-day forecast tomorrow as well. That may well be the last 5-day forecast, but we do for a little while. But we'll see. Anyway, live stream tomorrow from 6 o'clock, where we'll be live streaming the 10 to 14 day video update. And I promise I will remember to enable the display capture on that live stream. Right, that's it for this video, though. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.